Next on AM 1480 WLEA, the Newsmaker Show. Here's Ryan O'Neill.
We will have Assemblyman Phil Palmisano on Thursday. Sorry for any mix-up. Today, I announced that at 8 o'clock. Today, it's Steuben County Republican Election Commissioner Vicky Olin. Vicky Olin, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
So many things to talk about. Let's go through the basics first. Election Day is Tuesday, November
6th.
Okay. If you want to vote, and what's coming up is called the general election. If you want to vote in the general election, the Tuesday, November 6th election, what's the last day you can register to vote if you're not registered at this point?
October 12th is the last day. If you're doing a voter registration by mail, it has to be postmarked by the 12th, or you come into the office until then.
Okay, voting hours on Tuesday, November 6th?
Are from 6 a.m. until 9 p.m.
Okay, on the primary day, it started at what, 9 or noon?
It starts at noon on a primary.
Okay, but on this day, on Tuesday, November 6th, the upcoming general election, you'll be able to get out and vote as early as 6 a.m. What's the difference? Why do they do it that way?
I honestly don't know. Some of the counties are open all day for primaries, but I think the majority of them are open half a day. I don't know whether it's just because they feel that they don't get as big a turnout. Okay. I'm not really sure.
That's what I was thinking it was. Okay, where do I know where to vote? Where can I find out what my polling location is?
Well, you can go on our website, and there is a poll site place there where you can actually type in your address, and it will tell you exactly where your poll site is to go vote. Or if you got your yellow card in the mail, on the back side of that also gave you your poll site for your address.
Okay. How do I know if I'm registered? If I've moved to Steuben County, does my voter registration follow me?
No, it does not. If you move into a new county, you need to re-register with that county. Your voter registration does not move around with you. So you definitely, when you move, need to make sure you update your address with the post office and file a new voter registration form with the new county that you're in.
Talking live this morning in the studio with Vicky Olin, the Steuben County Republican Election Commissioner. Vicky, some people in some places are going to know what district they're in more than others. For example, if you live in a place like Hornell or Corning, you say, well, I'm in the 5th Ward, I'm in the 9th Ward. You kind of know that a little bit better because of I don't know if it's the layout of the streets or whatever, but if you're in a more rural area on a hill someplace, it's a little trickier to know in Hartsville or Hornellsville. You know what road you're on.
Right.
And maybe not much more than that. And that has nothing to do with anything except the layout.
Right.
And the fact that people are talking about it. You go into the neighborhood JC's Cafe and you know what ward you're in.
Yeah. People can go on, like I said, on the website and type in their address, and it'll tell them exactly what their voting town and district is and exactly where they go and vote. And it does. It's a logistical thing. And like Canisteo has 4 different districts. Hornellsville has 4 districts. In Hornell City, we have 10 wards. So it all depends on where you are. In Wayland, there's 3 districts. In Dansville, there's 1. So it really just depends on where you live and how many people are registered to vote in that area.
Okay. Vicky Olin, Steuben County Republican Election Commissioner. Do voters need to show ID? That's a big question these days.
You do if you're the first this is the first time you're voting.
Because a lot of times you'll walk in and it'll be usually senior citizens sitting at a table, and they're the poll watchers.
Yes.
And not always, but a lot of times it is. And, the familiarity between the seniors will know, oh, yes, we went to school together, or your father was a neighbor, and so on and so forth. So, they kind of have a good sense of that. It's probably a good thing that a lot of them are senior citizens for that reason. But anyways, ID these days.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody's registered and it's their first time voting, The poll book will tell the inspectors that they need to see ID. Also, sometimes when somebody registers, they don't provide us with a social security number, the last four of their social, or their driver's license, then we do have to ID them at the polls for the very first time to make sure they are who they say they are.
What is the one thing voters don't seem to understand the most? What's the biggest mistake that a voter will make?
The biggest mistake a voter will make is when selecting their party to register, they will select the box that says Independence Party, and they think that that means that they are independent of any party affiliation.
But there is an independence party.
But there is an actual independence party. It is an official party. And if voters want to be independent of a party, they need to go down a little further and select the box on the voter registration that says no party affiliation.
Okay. Vicky Olin, Steuben County Republican Election Commissioner. I think you said in the last election, back in November 2016, there was a lot of party voter changes. Largely because of the presence of then Republican candidate Donald Trump. He was motivating a lot of people one way or the other.
Correct.
Your thoughts on changing the party at this point? Now, today is Monday, October the 1st. How long does someone have to change their party affiliation before Tuesday, November 6th, general election voting day?
If people want to change their party, right now it won't take effect until 7 days after the general election, which is fine because at a general election, everybody gets to vote the same ballot. It doesn't matter what their party affiliation is as long as they're registered. But if somebody wants to change their party affiliation for next year's voting, then they have to do it by October 12th. That's the cutoff deadline for everything. And so if they want to change their party affiliation to take effect for 2019, it has to happen by October 12th of this year.
Okay, absentees. If somebody's out of town on Tuesday, November 6th, they know they're going somewhere, maybe to Florida, maybe to North Carolina, maybe to Arizona. They're going to be out of town Tuesday, November 6th. What do you do then?
They can come to the office and they can complete an absentee ballot application. We are hoping to have the actual ballots in office by October 15th so that they can get their ballot right then. But if somebody is going to be out of the county on election day, and they do have to be out of the county, if they are away at college, if they are physically disabled, they can all complete a absentee ballot application, and those are found on our website if somebody wants to go on there and download one and then print it out, fill it out, and then mail it into our office. We will get them their absentee ballot as soon as we have them in the office.
I imagine you get that a lot for disabled voters who are wheelchairs or blindness.
We do. People that are disabled, and the law also changed a couple of years ago to open it up to people that are actually caregivers to somebody who is physically disabled, because a lot of times they are a 24/7 provider for an individual and they can't get out to vote because they're home taking care of somebody. So if somebody is a provider for somebody who is disabled, then they can also get an absentee ballot application and they can vote from home.
We're talking with Republican Election Commissioner Vicky Olin. Vicky, this is something that I say every once in a while. I don't vote. And people say, wow, you're so into politics. You talk about politics all the time on the Newsmaker show. How can that be? How can that be? It's very simple. I've talked to other reporters about this too over the years. Don't worry, guys. I won't name names at home of the other reporters. But a lot of reporters have told me this over the years. Local reporters, you feel funny voting for a couple of reasons. One, you get a lot, these politicians bend over backwards answering questions for you, calling you back, both sides, Democrat and Republican or whatever party. And you feel, gosh, I feel like a weasel going in and voting against this man or woman who's done so much to help me get my job done. That's one thing. And another thing, going in the line, and everyone's looking at you because they know you're a reporter. How's he gonna vote? Who's he gonna? Did he do this? And did he do? So it just. A lot of reporters do this. I even heard the reporter from WSB Atlanta, who Sean Hannity has on a lot, admit that he does the same thing because he has to cover and talk to these people all the time. Point being, how are people voting these? Tell us about the voting machines, the process going in, because it has changed over the years as far as the physical layout of the voting machine.
Right. Before it used to be the lever machine. Now we have the voter scanning machine. And I can tell you that the machines work wonderful. We actually have to do a testing on every single machine that goes out to a poll site to vote with the ballots that they will be voted on and make sure that they're counting correctly. And then when we roll the machines out, there's a lot of chain of custody for security purposes on the machines. Kind of just like your cop shows, there is a whole lot of chain of custody there. And then on voting day, you are given a paper ballot. And when that paper ballot is removed from the stub, and the stub is strictly there just for ballot accountability, and that's all it's for. But once the paper ballot is actually removed from the stub, there is no way to identify that ballot at all once it has been torn out, voted, and scanned in the machine. And as you can imagine, it's not just media that's out there, but my position as well. I would not want anybody else, or anybody that works in my office would not want anybody else to be able to tell how we vote either. And so once that's done, once you've got your ballot in your hand, there's no way to tell whose ballot that is. And you're going to actually fill it out as kind of like a lottery ticket. Or like your SATs, you're going to fill out the oval next to the candidate's name that you want to vote for. And then you take it to the machine and you scan it into the machine, and the machine will automatically count it. And the really great thing about this process is if there is a problem, if a candidate thinks that something happens that shouldn't have been or takes us to court, we can actually take all of those paper ballots and completely do an entire election. And we have done that before. We had a candidate, there was a question, and so we literally pulled all of the ballots, and we had all of the candidates in a room, and we hand counted every single ballot because we still have that paper backup, even if something did go wrong with the machine itself. And when we did do that, the actual election results were correct. And after the election, we also do what is called a 3% audit. We take every machine, and the numbers go into like a bingo. And we have to select the first 3 machines that come up. And we have to take every ballot and hand count that. And then compare it against the election day results to make sure that the machine did count them correctly. And that's our regular process for every single election. And if people are not sure, and we had a lot of this last year because we had a lot of people come out, felt very strong for the presidential, that felt very strongly and hadn't voted in 30, 40 years. If they want to, we have like an ice cream ballot, and they can come into the office, they can fill it out, they can vote it on the machine. And so that when they go to the poll site on election day, it's not their very first time. And even if
you can go and rehearse voting.
Yes. And that's something that we do with the students when we go out to the schools and we help the students register to vote. We take a machine with us, and we take these what we call ice cream ballots. The kids get to vote on what's their favorite ice cream flavor, what's their favorite sandwich, which search engine do they use on the computer. And so it's things that they can relate to, like what's their favorite day of the week, what's their favorite season. Things that are very basic and generic, but they're things that the kids can vote on that still mean something to them, and it gives them experience so they know what to expect when they do go to vote.
Talking to Republican Election Commissioner Vicky Olin. Going to take a quick break. We'll be back. Stay with us.
Kevin Harlan from Westwood One here with a preview of Monday Night Football. I'll be with Hall of Famer Kurt Warner. We'll have the AFC West high-flying Kansas City Chiefs undefeated at 3-0 against the 2-1 Denver Broncos. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes has a record-setting 13 touchdown passes so far this season. Join us for what should be a good one. And hear the NFL all season long from Westwood One.
Tonight at 7:30 on AM 1480 WLEA.
And before we get back to Steuben County Republican Election Commissioner Vicky Olin, let's check in with Rob for the forecast.
Hey, Brian, it looks like as we head into a new month, temperatures are going to start off rather cool, but I think over the next week, maybe two, we're going to be talking about warmer than normal conditions. Now we're into October. We normally see temperatures slide quite a bit down towards the 50-degree mark by the end of the month for daily highs. But we're going to be well above that over the next week or two. In fact, by early next week, we could be talking about highs close to 80 degrees, believe it or not. And there could be a big snowstorm out in the Rockies next week. For today, well, we've got a frontal boundary stalled across the state. Warm air to the south, cool air to the north. We'll have clouds and perhaps a couple of showers as the day goes on. It's going to be cool, only around 60. Sunrise this morning, 7:08. It'll set tonight at 6:51. We'll have a few showers around tonight, too, as that frontal boundary starts to slowly lift northward. Nighttime lows 55 to 60. With the front just north of us tomorrow, we should be milder. Scattered showers, maybe some rumbles of thunder. Temperatures near 70. Showers will end tomorrow night, lows 55 to 60. And then the nice weather starts to develop Wednesday. Partial sun, close to 70. We could enjoy some more sunshine Thursday and Friday, Brian.
Thanks, Rob.
You got it, sir. Have a good one.
Back with Steuben County Republican Election Commissioner Vicky Olin. Next question is a follow-up to the questions we asked before the break. We were talking about the paper ballot system. I'm guessing that you'll say that it's out of a fear of, well, maybe you wouldn't say it this way, but I think a lot of people are afraid of, the Soros effect or the Koch brothers, trying to, if it was computerized, having some evil hacker get in there and getting the votes out the way they wanted it to and rigging an election. Does paper ballot help protect that kind of thing, prevent that kind of thing from happening?
Paper ballot does because, and it is one of the things that New York State, and sometimes they can be, it takes them forever to do something, but in this case, when they did it the right way. There's a paper ballot, so we always have a paper backup. We can always recreate the election for anybody to see, and I think that's really important. And the other thing people need to also know is our voting machines are not hooked up to the internet. They cannot be hacked into, and our systems within our office are also not hooked up to the internet. So somebody can't get into our system as we create the ballot and the cards for the machines. There is no way for anybody to actually hack into that because they're not connected to the internet in any way.
Okay, and this is a follow-up to that question. If the voting booths aren't computerized, how do you get the results so fast off to Albany at the State Board of Elections? Because their website's pretty fast.
Yeah, there's memory cards in the machines. And at the end of the night, the inspectors remove one of the cards and they send them to the office, and we upload everything on our website. From that, we have to upload it into this special machine, and then our IT department downloads it onto our website, and then we also have to email it to the state board. And all results on election night are unofficial. We still have to count absentees. We still have to count military. We still have to count any write-ins, if there was write-ins in the election. And if by any chance a machine broke down and we were not able to get it back up, we have to hand count all of those unscanned emergency ballots. And so there's still a lot going on in the office even after Election Day. But we do upload our results to the state board on election night, and then we have to still actually certify, and our certified process of the final votes actually goes to the state board in a paper format. Even though we do email it to them at the end, they have to get something in writing from us with our signatures that this is the official result.
You talked about absentees in there. Will the office, the County Board of Elections office in Bath, be open on the weekends for anyone who needs an absentee?
Yeah, we're going to be open on Saturday, October 27th, from noon until 9. So if anybody, and we do have a lot of like truck drivers or different people that are gone all week long for work, and they're only home on the weekends, so that they could come in on that Saturday if they wanted to and do their absentee application and get their ballot and vote it and have it all over and done with right now. We do have a lot of people that what we call our snowbirds, and they're also in because a lot of them, start heading out towards the end of October, the very beginning of November, and won't be here for Election Day. So we do have that Saturday morning hours on October 27th for people to come in from 9 to noon so that they can take care of it on the weekend if they can't get into us during the week.
If someone, I'm guessing that the average felony around here is going to be a DWI, but if you had a felony on your record, you can't vote then.
Well, you can vote if you are on probation.
Really? Okay, correct me here.
If you've served your maximum prison sentence, if you're discharged from parole, or if the governor pardoned you, then you can vote. So, and every time we are notified of felons, and so once we're notified of them, we actually have to purge them off the system. And once they become eligible to vote, they do need to re-register with us in order to vote.
Down to the last 90 seconds with Steuben County Republican Election Commissioner Vicky Olin. Had a lot of questions here. The yellow card from the Board of Elections that comes in the mail. Tell us about that.
That is actually done by New York State law. It's an address verification card. And it's basically, we have to verify that you still live at the address that we have you registered at. And on that card, it will tell you what your party affiliation is, your poll site for your address, and also the dates of the elections and the hours of voting. And we get probably, this last time, we received close to 1,800 of those back in the mail because either people did not notify the post office of their change of address, or they no longer live there and haven't updated their address with us.
Down to about 30 seconds with the Steuben County Republican Election Commissioner Vicky Olin. SteubenCony.org is the website. Then you click on the Board of Elections tab. What's on that website?
We have everything from your voter registration forms to your absentee ballots. Also, probably about 2 to 3 weeks before the election, we will post all of the ballots for everybody who votes in Steuben County so that you can actually go on your town and look at your ballot to view it so you know what it looks like before Election Day.
Out of time, Vicky Olin, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.